Good day everyone, Gwen here back again with another tutorial. This time I'm going to show you how to set up your Windows deployment services. The process is going to be very simple, so let's get right to it. So to begin, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select add roles and features. From here, we are going to go through the same process that we would have done multiple times in adding the different roles and features for our server. So you know how it goes. We press next here. It's a role-based or feature-based installation, so you press next again. We already have our server selected, so you press next, and we will be scrolling down to the Windows Deployment Services section. We're going to select it. These are the roles that are going to be added, so we're going to add the features, and then we're going to select next again. We do not need to add anything else with this, so we select next, and it's going to tell us exactly what it is you'll be utilizing the Windows deployment services for. The main thing is that it can basically remote install or remote set up OSs on different systems. Right? I'll break it down a bit more as I can. So we select next, we will see the different roles that are going to be added. So we keep them both selected, so select next again. And from here, it's going to tell us that it needs to confirm the installation, and if we need to restart it, if need be, we select OK, we select yes, and we will install it now. So the installation may take some time, so I may fast forward the video right here just a little bit. Right, so it is now completed, so I'm going to close this. As you can see, it has shown up in our server. This basically just shows us how it will be working and everything and so forth. But we know it's not here we need to go to. Where we in fact need to go to is Tools, and we are going to select Windows Deployment Services. Right, so as you're in our Windows Deployment Services, what we are going to in fact do is we are going to click on our servers, and it's going to tell us that there's no configuration being done. So we have to in fact configure the Windows Deployment Services. So let's do that. So we shall right click on the server and we shall click configure server. From here, it's going to ask us that we ensure that the following requirements are met, which I am lucky to say that they are. We already have our Active Directory domain server, our domain configured and set up, and we already actually have an active DHCP server on the network as well. So that now, and we also have an active DNS server and everything. So now the fact that we actually have these things ensured and installed in our service, we can select next. And here it's going to ask us if we want to integrate it with an Active Directory, if we want it to have it standalone. We in fact do want to integrate it with our Active Directory, so we select next. It is going to ask us where we would like to install our remote installation folder. We are going to install it in the local disk, as at the current point in time we do not have an extra drive that we can utilize, so we select next. It's going to in fact tell us that we should, for best performances, put it in a separate disk, but like I said before, because we do not have a separate disk available at this point in time, I would have to select yes to continue. As for the proxy DHCP server, we will leave everything here as it is. We will not deselect anything, so we select next. And from here, we will in fact select respond to all client computers, known and unknown. However, we would want it to require administrative approval for the unknown computers. Whereas if we select this option, the administrator would have to approve that the computer can in fact utilize the deployment services if need be. So we select that and we select this as well. We select next now, and now it's going to actually configure the Windows deployment services. So it has been configured, so we select finish, And now we will actually have our server set up. So now that we have our server set up and configured for it, we now actually have to implement the different installation and boot images. So reason we have to do that, I can give you the brief explanation on what a Windows Deployment Services actually does. What it does is, in fact, it enables you as the administrator, or in this case me, to deploy Windows operating systems over networks, which means that you do not have to install each operating system directly from a CD or a DVD. So if a system requires a new version of let's say of Windows, let's say they're running on Windows 8, but they are required to use Windows 10 or Windows 7, and they have to move to Windows 8, etc., etc. From the network, we could actually install it for them, so they don't necessarily have to use a CD to boot it for themselves. We can boot it for them. So we can in fact do that right now. It's actually quite simple because it's showing us that we can actually put in the install, the boot, and even multiple drivers. But in this video, we are going to put in the installation and the boot images. So let's do that. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to right click on the installation, on install images, and select add install image. From here, we can actually create a group name for it. I would most likely just leave it as in image group 1, or I can name it anything else. Actually, I'll name it something. I'll name it Windows 8.1 group, if that works. So I'm going to leave it as that. Select next, and now we are going to actually look for the image file for the Windows 8.1. What it's going to actually do is it's going to go into the DVD boot file and find the install image. So let's browse for it. So we go to our DVD, we go into sources, and it's going to actually give us the two in particular that we will be utilizing. For this one, we will be selecting the install.wim. So we select open, and then we select next. It's going to tell us that it in fact has both Windows 8.1 Pro and Windows 8.1. So it's going to tell us these are the files that it's going to add. We select next again, and it's going to tell us that we have selected Windows 8.1 Pro and Windows 8.1 to install. So we will leave it as such, and we are going to select next one more time, and now it's going to actually add the Windows image. So this process is going to take some time to actually check for the integrity and actually install it. So I am going to definitely have to fast forward the video so that it doesn't be too long. So the process has been successfully added to the server. So we select finish, and now it's going to actually tell us that we have our image Windows 8.1 Pro and our 8.1 Pro and regular 8.1, so that we can install it onto our servers. So now that we have our install, we now have to also add the boot image. So let's do that as well. So we add the boot image by browsing, doing the exact same thing as we did before, and we select the boot.wim. We select open, we select next. It's going to tell us, it's going to ask us to enter the name and description of the Windows setup. We're going to leave it just as it is. We select next, and now it's going to add the image. This one may not take as long, but I still may fast forward it. Or I actually may not have to, because look at that, it's already done. So now that that's finished, we can see that it's online here as well. And to just finally check to see everything is there and operational, we shall open File Explorer. Our local disk is actually getting really full. Hopefully this is all that we need to do. Let's open the local disk. Let's go into remote install, and if we select images, we will in fact see the Windows 8.1 group that we just did does in fact have our two installation here ready and necessary if we need to utilize it. And let us also go into the boot. In the boot, we can see it also has it here as well. So everything is properly installed for us to utilize. There it is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of the video. The process is actually that simple. Like I said, Once you configure everything and have it working, you would be able to deploy these onto the different clients that you would have. But other than that, that's the configuration of it. And that's it for the video. I do hope you enjoy. Take care. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.